Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're at all tuned into the UK immigration landscape right now, you have undoubtedly seen the massive viral rumors swirling around the UK's 10-year indefinite leave to remain, or ILR pathway. It's been an absolute whirlwind of anxiety over the last few days, mostly sparked by some recent parliamentary comments from Shabana Mahmood. So today, we're going to break down exactly what was said about these potential UK new rules. We're going to separate the actual facts from the social media panic and figure out what it all really means for your future in the country. All right, let's dive into it.
Here is our agenda for today's explainer. First, the 10-year ILR debate. Second, why are rules changing? Third, the new salary divide. Fourth, the political climate. And finally, always have a plan B.
Section 1. The 10-year ILR debate.
Right now, there is just a ton of extreme anxiety running through the immigrant community. People who have spent years building their lives here are suddenly terrified about their permanent residency status. So, let's tackle the absolute most pressing question on everyone's mind today. Has the 10-year ILR rule officially changed? Because if you look at social media, you think it literally happened overnight.
Well, let me just rip the Band-Aid off and relieve some of that anxiety right now. No, not yet. As of right this second, absolutely nothing has changed for those of you currently on the 5-year route. Your timeline, your specific salary requirements, it all remains exactly the same as it was yesterday. But that definitely doesn't mean changes aren't being aggressively debated behind closed doors right now.
What we're really looking at is a massive philosophical clash happening in Parliament. On one side, you've got the Lords Committee. They're basically arguing that it is fundamentally unfair and unethical to change the rules midway for existing immigrants who came to the UK totally expecting a 5-year pathway. Makes sense, right? But on the flip side is the government's stance, which Shabana Mahmood articulated perfectly. Their argument is that a government's primary job is to adapt rules to current, real-world situations. From their point of view, if they can't legally alter policies when circumstances shift, then what is even the point of having a functioning government?
Moving on to Section 2. Why are rules changing? To really wrap our heads around these potential UK new rules, we have to look at the sheer scale of the administrative headache the government is currently trying to solve. I mean, over the last 5 to 6 years, there's been a massive, unexpected influx of immigrants into the UK, way beyond what the system ever planned to accommodate. And once granted permanent residency, people rightfully gain access to public funds. But that's placing a severe strain on the government, especially when it comes to housing and benefits. Plus, the government has flagged some pretty significant visa misuse. For instance, people enrolling in universities purely as a backdoor entry. Their spouses would come in on a dependent visa, which crucially had absolutely zero work restrictions. So you'd have one person barely going to class and paying nominal fees while their dependent spouse was working full-time in an IT job or at Tesco. They were completely bypassing standard work visa restrictions and exploiting a loophole you could essentially drive a double-decker bus through. And the government hasn't exactly been sitting still on this. Just look at the timeline. In 2023, they banned dependents for most students. Then, moving into 2024, they extended that ban to dependents of care workers. And today, now they are debating the 10-year ILR route. If you connect the dots, it's pretty clear that this current ILR debate is really just the next logical step in a long, multi-year chain of government crackdowns.
Section 3. The new salary divide.
So, if these rumors actually turn into concrete policy, how exactly does the government plan to filter future indefinite leave to remain applications? Well, it's probably going to come down to your paycheck. £50,000. That is the magic number to keep your ears open for. While the exact figures aren't totally finalized, the heavily rumored threshold to keep that easier pathway is hovering right around the £50,000 to £60,000 mark. Under these rumored UK new rules, this divide is brutally clear. Essential workers and high earners might get fast-tracked, while others are looking at a much tougher road. The 5-year ILR would basically be preserved for high earners making over £50,000 and for crucial roles. We're talking doctors, school teachers, and healthcare professionals. On the flip side, lower earners making under that $50,000 mark could be pushed into a grueling 10-year wait, extending their dependence on a sponsor. There's even a wild rumor floating around that exceptional earners, people pulling in over £120,000, could be fast-tracked to a 3-year ILR. So yeah, the dividing line is sharp.
And let's be real, the real-world impact of this on ordinary families is staggering. Right now in the UK, IT salaries have heavily stagnated. A lot of professionals are working for £40,000 to £45,000, which are literally wages we were seeing a decade ago. And to make matters worse, some companies are knowingly underpaying their workers because they know these immigrants desperately need the visa sponsorship. It's a really tough spot to be in. If the 5-year route gets restricted, families with children who are already settled in schools on a sponsorship visa are going to face some sudden, devastating instability. They'd be trapped paying for visa extensions and NHS fees for an entire extra 5 years.
Section 4. The political climate. Now, immigration policy is never drafted in a vacuum, right? It's heavily influenced by a completely volatile political battlefield. And we really need to look at the pressures the government is facing internally. It's being reported that over 100 of their own internal MPs are pushing back against these proposed changes. That just goes to show that this issue is incredibly controversial even within the ruling party's own ranks.
So why all the pushback? Well, it's a massive balancing act. First off, local MPs have to protect their high immigrant voter bases. If they support unfair retrospective changes, it could literally cost them their seats. But at the exact same time, you have a public that's frustrated by a lack of development in jobs, leading to rising anti-immigration sentiment nationwide. Then you throw political figures like Nigel Farage into the mix, who are aggressively maneuvering electorally, stepping down, stepping right back into the spotlight, just to challenge the major parties. Traditional politicians are genuinely terrified of new hardline political parties popping up and stealing their voters if they even appear soft on immigration.
The absolutely crucial reality to remember here is this: electoral survival and political maneuvering dictate policy stances just as much as ethics do. Regardless of whether a committee thinks something is fair or unfair, we have to recognize that politicians are ultimately going to act in their own electoral interests. Yes, they need the tax revenue from skilled workers to keep the country running, but they also desperately need to win the next election.
And finally, Section 5. Always have a Plan B.
All right, so with all this political maneuvering and shifting policy, what should you actually do with all this uncertainty? First things first, manage your timeline. While retrospective changes absolutely could happen, we honestly won't know exactly which salary brackets are affected or who is safe for another 2 to 3 months. Until we get that official final clarity, we have to operate on preparation, not panic.
So here is your concrete advice. Number 1, do not panic. The rules remain entirely unchanged today. Number 2, know that high earners, medical staff, and teachers are still a massive priority for the government. Number 3, you need to start preparing financially right now for the potential costs of further visa extensions, just in case you don't hit those new salary thresholds. And number 4, formulate a backup plan for your family's stability. You've got to be aware of the landscape, prepare for the worst, and hope for the best.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer today. But before you go, I want to leave you with a direct, pretty provocative question to chew on. If the UK new rules change tomorrow and your 5-year pathway suddenly becomes a 10-year wait, what is your plan B? Seriously, start having those difficult conversations with your family and your employers today so you aren't caught off guard. Thank you so much for hanging out with me to explore this topic. Stay focused, stay prepared, and we'll see you on the next explainer.